TruthSeekah and/or its affiliates are not responsible for any strange phenomena that may occur during or after listening to this podcast, which may include the following: heightened senses of awareness, psychic abilities, UFO sightings, alien contact, time loss, out-of-body experiences, ringing in the ears, ESP, lucid dreaming, increased synchronicities, astral projection, telepathy, stronger intuition, levitation, miraculous healings, and/or remote viewing. Please be advised to listen at your own discretion.
Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? To a place to walk on troubled seas, faith to stand when I don't believe. I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come?
You are now locked into the TruthSeekah podcast.
Gargoyles! Psychics! Everything's ungodly! Dark savage!
Streaming live at TruthSeekah.com.
She's not a Christian!
Give it up, y'all.
Your portal to the paranormal, esoteric, and all things spiritual.
She's tampering in dark-sided stuff!
And now, your host, TruthSeekah.
Ladies and gentlemen, God bless you all. How are y'all doing on this beautiful Black Friday? Having a great time. Just got back from a incredible vacation with some spirit tribe friends and family. We went up to the mountains and had an incredible vacation. Spending time with family and just connecting, getting back to nature. So much fun. Went to Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg. Had some much needed R&R. And then for Thanksgiving, we went to the Porch Creek Indian Powwow here in Atmore, Alabama, or Porch, Alabama. You guys know I talk about it. I'm from that tribe, that band of Indians. For you guys, I have that tattooed on me as well, the Porch Creek Band of Indians emblem tattooed on me. Just some back info. But I'm excited and delighted to be with you guys again, to be back. Got a good show planned. Just going to be hanging out. This is one of those shows where we get to hang out in the studio with a guest, in studio. I've only done a couple of these. Actually, maybe one of these with Dan Oskopinski. And the person that I have with me today as a guest, he's a friend of Dan Oskopinski as well. Part of that Spirit Tribe family. We're just hanging out, man. And you guys are just going to get to hear some of this conversation about our adventure these last couple days, and we're going to talk to my buddy Chris Barszcz about his journey, where he's at right now, where he's come from. It's going to be real interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and give a quick shout out to, first of all, everybody holding us down in the chat room as soon as we go live. You guys are awesome, man. You guys make this a lot more fun for us here. So if anybody has any questions, the phone lines aren't working right now for some reason, but send us a message over there in the chat on YouTube, and we'll try to answer your questions, and you guys are a part of the show as well. So before we go any further, man, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who is supporting on Patreon, everybody who's given over there. It means the world. You guys are helping me to continue to do what I'm doing, to help put these podcasts out, put out some awesome music, conscious, mind-expanding, mind-altering music that helps you connect with the realms unseen and some of the places I've been on my journey. The music embodies it. And so it's cool that there's like a transfer of energy when people listen. They're taking to places like that as well, very similar places, and people are having their own experiences and encounters through the music. So I couldn't do any of that without the supporters over at Patreon. So if you want to give, you can sign up at any level, patreon.com/TruthSeekah, and there you're able to get rewards and unlock perks and things like that, and you get all my music as soon as it comes out. So a lot of it over there is you get access to it before it's available to the general public. And I couldn't do it without you guys. So from the bottom of my heart, and also too, everybody who's supporting, I'm gonna like, instead of doing like a thank yous and just big custom thank you, like you're gonna get your name in the next CD, like in the credits or whatever. I'm gonna give a shout out to everybody who's supporting over there. 'Cause, I mean, that's just a perfect model of giving. So thank you guys for supporting my channel, my work, and everything that we're bringing to the table. So before we go any further, I gotta say a big thank you to one of the patrons, because Chris Barszcz, this guy here to my left in studio, he's been a day one brother. So ever since I put out Patreon and some of the other avenues of giving and supporting, man, he's been there supporting the music, supporting the vision. And dude, thank you, man. Really, you and your wife, thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting us and going above and beyond with the vision, dude. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Derek. Like, thank you so much, because you are a big part of the path that I'm on right now. You know, you and a lot of other people that I look up to, you know, are a big inspiration to where I'm at right now. You know, it's a long time coming, a lot of trusting in myself and in Source, and it's been a long journey, man. I'm just really thankful to be here with you and to just enjoy all these moments.
Share the sacred space, man.
Yeah.
It's cool because maybe we could talk a little bit about it, because you're a fan of my music, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
So when we met, I don't know if it was friendship came first or fandom came first or whatever, but you're definitely a fan of the music. I appreciate that. And but it's deeper than that, because we're friends, we're brothers, we're on this journey together. And talk a little bit about like how we met, and talk about Further Fest and all the experiences from that.
Okay, yeah, totally. So I first heard of you through Dano, like Dan. Big shout out to you, Dan. What's up, bro? Like, you know, I'm not really into rap at all. Like, I used to be really big into it, you know, back when Eminem and, you know, Jelly Roll, I like Jelly Roll and all that stuff, but like, just really wasn't into that. But anyways, like, I started like hearing your stuff because I always heard his stuff, you know, and your flow, that's what kind of drew me in. There's the flow, the beat obviously is just unbelievable, but what you spoke about, it's like a kind of like, it's kind of like an experience that I think people go through, and they don't, like, you know, I've heard you say it before, like, you don't have words for it, you know, like, and that's kind of what happened to me. It's like what you spoke about in some of your songs is like experiences that I've gone through in my life as a, I want to put a title to it, as a Christian in that that scene, you know, like, I've had a lot of hurt and a lot of good things come out of it. But anyways, back to meeting you, like, yeah, it was more of a fan. Like, I grew into a fan because I fell in love with your music. And believe it or not, when we finally got the opportunity to come see you, yeah, you can ask Nicole, like, what do you call it? I told you already, when you call it a groupie. Like, I kind of felt like a groupie because I had a chance to have him in my car, and he was practicing his music on the way to Further Fest. And but yeah, man, it was cool though. Like, he just showed me, hey, I'm just another human. I'm just a brother. I'm just a brother, bro. It's cool that you love me like that, but I'm just a brother.
Yeah.
And throughout these years, that's just what it's been growing into, is more of a brother relationship, a really close, good friend. I call you like a good, close brother. Like, seriously.
It's awesome, man.
And yeah, support you.
It was
100%.
funny. It was funny when you told me that. You know, that I'm riding in the car and you're like, oh my God, I got
Yeah,
this
dude,
cigarette.
I was like really freaking out in my mind. But it's part of the process.
Yeah, part of the process, and respect the process, every single part of it. So we just had this vacation, and we went together with Spirit Tribe, man.
Oh yeah.
You and your wife Nicole, my family, me, my wife, my daughter Nevaeh, Jeremy and Jessica, and Christy Lee. Which you guys know, we do a show on Wednesday nights with Christy Lee as well. So we all had a chance to kind of go on vacation and spend some time in nature and hiking and stuff, and it was awesome.
So beautiful.
And then yesterday we went to the Puerto Rican Indian powwow, and we was able to, both of us for the first time, try hape.
Yeah.
Or so it's tobacco from Peru, and you blow it up your nose, and you take it in ceremony, and it helps you feel more connected with nature, more in tune with things that are going on. And we did that yesterday for the first time, and some actually right before we went live, and it's a beautiful
Yes.
feeling. It's so shout out to Coy, my brother Coy, Third Eye Opener, for sending me the links on how to get that stuff. It was a beautiful experience, man. Do you want to talk about that a little bit at all?
Yeah, sure.
Because like a lot of people have never tried
Yeah,
that.
I've never tried it before, so this is my first time. He talked to me about it a little bit, started doing my research to like just figure out what's it all about and stuff, and kind of just, not just take his own word for it, but to look for myself, and I just think there's really nothing wrong with it, and people are just getting it to ground and to get closer to for me, it's closer to spirit, and yesterday when we got there and we got to do that, it was a really cool experience because I've never really experienced anything like that, like to see all these people coming together, from all over the nation, like, and to hear these Indians, how they were just all like, they were loving on everybody, like how I love on people, like, and I honestly, I only research what I research, so I don't know that much about the Indian, like, all that stuff, so it was, like, really beautiful to me. He did a beautiful, beautiful prayer that I was really, like, connected with, because he threw in the name Jesus in there, and I'm just like, oh, wow, like, oh, these dudes believe in Jesus Christ, too?
Yeah, I know,
I think
right?
it's amazing, like,
Yeah.
I just thought it was an amazing experience. I've never experienced anything like it.
So I guess that kind of bridges the conversation, because we're going to go back into your story a little bit and just pull things out here and there, and mine too, because obviously it's very similar, especially even the people who are watching this or listening to this now have a similar story about most of us coming out of westernized Christianity, right? So I think there's a parallel there where you're talking about them praying to the Great Spirit, thanking the Creator God, and seeing God in nature and His hand working and everything.
And everything.
And then they throw in the name Jesus,
the precious Son Jesus.
Precious Son Jesus at the end of the prayer, and it's very reflective of where we are with our spirituality.
Yes.
And so that's kind of what we tried to name this episode. Essentially, is like coming from Christianity and having a foundation of Jesus, of having an encounter with God through the person of Jesus, right? And that's our foundation, and everything's built on top of that. But there's many places that we've been, we've went, and we're going that venture outside of the four walls of the church.
Absolutely.
And this person of Jesus, or the Spirit of Jesus, we're seeing in all things and in everything, and most don't even use that word.
Yeah, exactly.
Some get offended when we use that word, but the presence and power of love, which is Jesus manifested, is what we're seeing in everything.
Exactly.
So as we see them bringing Jesus into the Native American indigenous cultures, we may go to some type of spirituality, into meditation and metaphysics and esoteric breakdowns and knowledge and ETs and things like that. Just we're not afraid to approach those subjects and bring Jesus into those subjects, right? So talk a little bit about that, how, just a little bit about where you came from with your past and stuff too, and to tie it into where you are now with bringing Jesus wherever you go.
Okay, so I was raised in Christianity, that religion. I was so-called saved in 1999, I believe. And kind of just went down that ball game of being in the church and trying to get close into the church, because my family, they still are to this day, close into the church and all that, and like trying to get my personal experience with God, and I really didn't get but maybe a few things that were personal to me on my own level. I used to have epilepsy seizures when I was a kid, and this is where my faith in Jesus began, really, because I said the prayer to not go to hell, with my mom and all that. Like,
how old were you?
Well, at first I was 5.
And
I went to one of those heaven and hell skit things, and then
Heaven's Gates, Hell's
Flames.
Flames.
Exactly. And then when I was 10 or 11, that's when I really said the prayer, and I felt like I meant it from my heart and everything. But I did it to still, I didn't want to go to hell. Yeah. But anyways, I used to have epilepsy seizures. Took the medicine for it, everything. Diagnosed with it. Had 3 or 4 of them, I think, in my life. But anyways, that's where I had my encounter, because I was still going to those like heaven's hell gate things and trying to get healed from it, because I just thought, well, maybe if the preacher could preach me, I'll get that touch like Jesus, I accepted Jesus in my heart every time. Actually, I remember,
Yeah.
like, just every single time we went.
Every-
But
yeah,
it
yeah.
never worked because I'd still have them. I'd still take the medicines, and it wasn't. So my mom, she'll tell you, she went to Benny Hinn, and she had an experience, like, 'cause, you know, they do the praying and all that, and she went in my behalf or whatever. So she says that because of that, you know, that's why I was healed. But I really believe that it was because I personally one day just believed, you know what? What's taking the step of faith? Like, you know, what's taking the step of faith? All right, I'm going to put these pills to the side. I'm going to stop. I'm not going to take these pills no more because they no longer serve me no more. And doing that showed me that I was having my faith. Like, you know, like, because I'm taking something I'm so used to, and now I'm taking it away from me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm noticing that, you know, that's really my personal step of faith. And I watched how right when I did that, it was a difference. I felt different. You know, don't get me wrong. I went through a thing like pill withdrawal.
Yeah.
Because I was always taking that for years. There was a time I actually I went through the pill withdrawal, and it was making my mouth all like that kind of thing, and that's a symptom
Yeah,
for
wow.
seizures. And anyways,
Okay.
I went to my mom and I started freaking out, and I was like, Mom, I think I'm gonna have another one. And then I started like repenting right away, like, yo, I just want to let you know I was looking at porn. I was doing this. I'm so sorry. I think this is why, and I think God's punishing me now. And then she started praying in tongues and praying with me, and I'd start to feel better and whatnot. And you know, just growing up, like, that was my personal experience. That was my only probably like real Christian in the church experience with Jesus. But as I got older, I got out of the church because just the ridicule. You know, oh, he's got tattoos. Oh, he believes this. But how can you say you believe Jesus and all this? I just thought always it's about relationship, you know. And it as the time progressed, like, I started seeing with my own personal experiences that Jesus really isn't everything, like, in every single person. Like, call it what you want. That's what I call it. It's fine. But I started to listening to, like, I met Dan and met some other people that God brought in my path that just opened me up to a new light, you know, like, that God is outside these walls. The Bible is a good tool, a foundation for you, but he's still outside of that Bible. Like, you know, he's outside of it. He's in everything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's outside of it, he's inside of it. I can't deny it now. I've had my experience now, like, you know, with other things too, with mushrooms and all that, where I felt what I felt inside, and no one can take my experience from me.
Exactly.
And every single person in this chat room and every single person in this world has had some type of experience, period, and no one can take that from them.
Well, they tell you in the churches not to go by your feelings because your feelings can deceive you. Your feelings can lead you astray, and things like that.
And that's a battle right there.
I know, but like your experiences are legit.
Yeah, they are legit experiences.
Like, how can you tell me?
I didn't see this.
What did we use as an analogy about a snake or something, right? A snake biting people or whatever. They said, no, you can go, or a dog. Go over there and pet that dog.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the dog done bit 3 people. Like, if I go over there, he's probably going to bite me.
Yeah,
and then I go over there and he bites me, but you are telling me, he won't bite you, bro. He won't bite you, man. It's like, hold on, dude. My experience with that dog is that he bites, bro.
Exactly.
You need to get that dog seen about.
Keyword experience.
Yeah, that's my experience. And he might not bite everybody, but he bit the piss out of me. You know what I'm saying? And that's a great analogy for religion,
I think
man.
it's supposed to be everyone needs an experience. You don't need to judge everything off of what somebody else tells you. Like, you know, have your own personal experience. Do your own research. Like, don't just believe what everybody else tells you.
That's the conflict right now, because many evangelists, many Baptists will tell you that they're to preach the gospel. And the gospel is the gospel of Jesus Christ, a gospel of hope, of salvation. But you're going off, you're taking their word for it.
Exactly.
Right?
That they're right.
And because they had an encounter with God.
Yeah.
When I was 7, God visited me.
When I was 7.
Brother, and he did this and he did that, right? And you're supposed to, and this is why God transformed their life. And they want you to believe that gospel. And that's all good. And I know I have many close friends who do that. And I did it off of my encounter. But the truth is, everyone's supposed to have an encounter.
Every
Like
single
everybody
person.
can have these encounters that we're having with God, with the spirit realm, with Jesus in the flesh. This is for you. Don't take my word for it. I hope that my stories and my music and my testimonies move you to envy, that you'll seek out God for yourself to get an encounter.
Yes.
To have an encounter with the divine creator. Everybody can do that. An encounter with Jesus, however you want to frame that. All of it's possible. So we move from preaching a gospel of a theory or another man's experience to coming into having our own encounter with God.
Yeah, exactly. It all comes back to love.
Shouts out everybody again in the chat room. Chad, Sarah, Jonathan, Jonathan Snugs. He says hashtag psilocybin. No doubt, brother. Adam, I seen you there, brother. Chrome, Canto, Jared Canto, what's up, my brother? Travis, Carl Rawson, what's up, my brother? Out of Bubblegum, what is up, dude? Tina, my good friend, how are you? So, yeah, just giving a shout out. Angus Buffalo, what is up? Give a shout out to everybody holding us down. You guys are awesome. If y'all have any questions or whatever about this stuff, too, go ahead and drop us a line there. But, so, having your encounter with God or the church, and then leaving the church, but still having a foundation with Jesus, opening up the realm of possibilities, maybe some other belief systems, maybe looking into other philosophies and things like that. Having your encounter challenged about who Jesus is and how in those early stages it is kind of hard to maintain that faith when other people come who are very knowledgeable about ancient texts, about books, about who Jesus is, or did he exist or didn't he? How do you hold on to your faith? Because you've reached out to me recently about reading materials that seem convincing, but challenge where we come from, and not from a state of cognitive dissonance where you won't budge from what you believe, of even though you're being shown contrary teachings about your belief. That's not it. But how do we maintain this level of intimacy and innocence with the simplicity of the gospel? Because I talk about my music being lost within the mystery and found within simplicity. How does that work out for you?
Well, basically,
trying to hold Jesus in the midst of all this stuff.
Yeah. Well, basically, first of all, in my part of my awakening, I had people come to me pretty much straight up and tell me that, look, bro, it's cool that you're waking up and all that, but you need to eliminate Jesus, bro. Like, Jesus,
you need to get rid of him.
You need to get rid of him. Like, you are God. You are over everything. And da 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 da. I'm just like, okay, and these are people that I look up to, that I've looked up to a lot, and it kind of like started stripping that foundation from me. That was in the beginning of the process, but it kind of has been a roller coaster for me personally. There's times where through just through my own personal research of stuff and reading people's things and thinking that, oh wow, maybe it makes you think like, oh man, maybe everything I read about this is really not the truth. Yeah. But what I do know as far as like keeping Jesus in for me is my voice of truth. Like, in the back of your mind, you still hear it. You know what I mean? Like, it's still there. And reaching out to people that have that foundation too. Yeah. That can lift you up. Yeah. Is another beneficial thing, because
it's not like you're out there as a rogue. Yeah. By yourself, making it up as you go.
But you feel that way. Yeah. You kind of make that up for yourself, because I really felt like at a time I was alone. Yeah. Like, I was like, man, I'm alone. There's nobody that can help me.
Nobody understands.
I'm screwed. Yeah. But it's part of that process, and there's a lot of people in my life though that right now I'm so forever thankful for, that are back home in Florida, that have just told me to like trust my process, like no matter what, and have been there for me in all of this, that still to this day are here, just like you. You're just like Dan, like everybody, but it's still challenging to this day. Remember, I've sent you stuff. I was like, hey bro, what do you think about this, about Jesus and this and that, and it's not like I'm just trying to get your answer to be my answer. It's just because
rolling ideas.
Yeah, rolling ideas, because it's like it totally messes with your head still.
But if you was to do that in the church,
Oh, no. I would.
You can't really
no,
go.
No.
You can't really
Man.
go to the four walls
Yeah.
and say, "Hey, what do you guys feel about?"
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we just throw this out. What do you guys feel about mushrooms? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't just.
No, and
can't do that.
that I have friends that are totally against that.
Exactly.
That I love to death,
Mhm.
and then I have friends that are Christians and follow the Christians that are they're open to me. Like they're. That's why I know those seeds. This is how you know God is real, and trying to wake people up to outside of the church. Like don't only believe it. You can believe what you want, but look for yourself. Like don't let one person. Don't even let me tell you what I believe. Just look for yourself. Whatever truth is to you, you know. Like don't let anyone strip it from you ever. Because the moment you allow someone to strip that from you, you've given them that power, and you kind of lose it until you gain it back. Which thank God there's people out there that can help us, like for whatever that is for you, whatever truth is to you. You know, you have your people that you can reach out to, your tribe. You know, that will be there for you no matter what. But what I like to do for me, I honestly don't say Jesus to everybody. That's not how I reach my people like that I come in contact with. I just be the love of what Jesus was. Unconditional.
That's what
love.
he is.
Yeah.
You know?
Unconditional.
His name's not even Jesus.
Yeah.
If
Exactly.
break it down.
People just created that. It's you know, it's everyone's has that Christ inside of them. You know, it's talking to them.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. Like we all have that inside of us. We just need to be woken up to it.
Yeah.
Call it what you want. We were all born saying it's not a race. It's
Yeah.
not anything. It's all one race.
So moving from religion and being dogmatic, because dogma comes with religion. If you have something like that, you have to be right. You know, you have to have an answer for everything. And then it comes to the person of Jesus, right? Which is just love. And
Unconditional
your beliefs don't threaten me anymore. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
If you're an atheist or
Exactly.
you're so new
you
age,
can actually feel more comfortable around them.
Exactly, because they don't threaten you. But back in the day, those beliefs and thoughts would threaten you, and you had to get away from those people.
Yeah.
You had to shut those people down and tell them that they were
You felt like crap doing it too.
in sin.
But you felt like this
Some
is what
people-
you're doing, right? This
Some
is
people
right.
felt good because when I was
Well, at
in
some
that
points,
when I was in that realm of thinking, I felt good when I shut somebody down, of debating people. But hey, if you're not following Christ, you're in sin, and I'm gonna show you how to get free from your sin, and they have an idea, and they may be following Christ more closely than I am.
Yeah.
By a different name. By a different name, I mean love, peace, joy, all good things come from above. If it has to do with that, it's Christ.
Yes.
I believe that Jesus is love made manifest in the form of flesh.
Yes.
If love became a human being, that's who Jesus was. So if someone has those same character traits and they're seeking the same thing, they're seeking Jesus in my book.
Yeah, that's
right?
how I feel too.
And I think the Bible tells us that. Paul tells us that. And Romans 1 and 2 talks about how those coming up without the law, without the Torah, without the Bible, which is pretty much everybody in Western culture for the most part, are by nature doing the things that are written of in the book, it becomes a law unto themselves. And they're keeping the law without you having to tell them to keep the law.
Exactly.
They're loving their neighbors without you having to tell them to.
They have a guiding system.
Exactly. And that's what the new covenant is.
Yeah.
Is that guidance system that says that the word of God, the Torah, is written upon the hearts of men.
Yeah.
And people know when you steal something, you know you wasn't supposed to take that.
Exactly.
When you tell a lie, there's
beautiful.
just war going on within you that you're lying. You got to manipulate the truth.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
so that's a GPS system. That's the compass, right?
And it's always been there.
Everyone has that, and that's kind of like what binds us together. I think, or people who live by that, versus hey brother, I follow the Bible, and I go to Bible college, Bible school. That doesn't mean anything anymore. Not
It
to
used
me.
to be so big, though. It really, really was so big to see people how far they would go to thinking they were right. You know.
Yeah.
It scares the living crap out of people.
Yeah, it scares the crap out of them because you have to understand they've given their whole eternity.
Exactly.
Like they've given their life to follow this. And you're telling me that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I stake my life on this, on what my pastor says. Like, I've given my life to follow that. And my eternity, not just my life, but my eternity.
Yeah, it's
my eternal soul.
Exactly.
And you're telling me I'm wrong.
Exactly.
You're telling my pastor's wrong. And so that that's a rude awakening for many people. And it starts out, people, they get upset and they have to fight it. They come. I wrote this big long excerpt about it. I need to publish it, but they start. It's a good place to be though, when
Absolutely.
you start questioning
I think
everything and asking questions. But in those realms, they tell you not to ask questions. Don't try this. Don't go there. Don't do that.
The way that I look at it, God is really just going to give you how much you can really handle, you know what I mean? Like, if you want just this little bit of God, going to church and all that, and getting your fill up of it every Sunday and every Wednesday night for teen nights or whatever it is, go for it. If you want more for it, whatever you want, you're going to get. Whatever you seek, you're going to find. Like, me personally, like, I just see God in everything and all things. Like, just going down, like, watching a homeless man who's sitting there just crying, right? And drinking even a beer, right? And just going up to that dude and just sitting there and not even offering him, just giving him money. Just sit there and be with him. Like, every single person can do that. Every single person has it inside of them,
Yeah.
And there's also the other side, the battle of, oh, I don't want to stop and see that guy because he's just going to want my money, or, oh, I'm not supporting his habit or whatever, But what I've come to realize is God is in the smallest things, Maybe that guy needs somebody to just be there for him, Who cares about if he's drinking? Like, it's not even about that anymore. God isn't looking at that. He's looking at the heart of every human being. What's on your heart,
Yeah, there's a quote, and I love this. I first heard it from Illuminati Congo. He's got a song on it. But if you can't see God in all, then you can't see God at all.
Yeah.
And so everything we see, that God is in it all. And it's a biblical precept. I'm not even going outside of the Bible to say that. Like,
Yeah.
the Bible, God creates light and darkness. He says, behold, I create good and evil. Like, he's in all of it. He's in the good, the bad, the ugly, the in-between, the fun, the laughter, the joy,
Yeah.
the tears. Like, God is to be seen in all of it. But what are you looking at? Like, what are you focused on? There's a story in a book that Manly P. Hall wrote called The Way of the Lonely Ones. And The Way of the Lonely Ones is just a bunch of short stories that he wrote. And it talks about this guy who goes, and I need to share it with you, but it's about this guy who goes and has an encounter in the woods, and everything he sees the face of Christ in it.
That's
in
beautiful.
The water, in the trees, in the air,
See,
in the
that's a
sky.
beautiful
And
thing to look at.
it talks about he's just everything that he sees after this encounter, that God is in all of it, even in the good times and in the bad times. And I want to share that with you. But I'm a huge fan of Manly P. Hall and his work. But being able to see Christ in everything, because he is in everything.
Yeah, he really truly is. And like I said, the deeper you go into that, the more you're gonna get into it. You're gonna see he's gonna show you really what it all is to you. Like what it all was from the beginning for you, for what you were here for. Like, whatever that is for you, whatever you're gonna do for the world.
And that kind of ties in with the title, the spirit of authenticity, of being your authentic self, no matter what it is, being who that person
You feel.
on the inside.
Yeah, that you feel on the inside.
The childlike heart, kind, generous, all that stuff, and being okay to be vulnerable.
Yep.
And not having to have it all figured out, and to be okay to explore something for the first time. Being okay to say you like it, and we use
believing that your voice of discernment is your voice of discernment. It's actually you're hearing from your
and being
source,
okay with
and
it.
being okay with it. That and nothing can take that from
as
you.
long as it's
Step in it.
connected, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
To
Yeah.
something greater, something
Yeah.
good.
I'm not saying say yes to it all. I'm just saying, like, if you feel it, like, okay, I want to do this, like, I talk to God about it. I'm like, all right, is this for me? I do my research, and if I feel I do it. That's how I go. I don't care. No one can take that from me, and no one can tell me you can't do that. Say what you want. It's who I am. You do what you want.
Yeah, those people who would doubt your relationship with God.
Of course.
I'm
dealing with it a lot.
Yeah, and it's always there in the back of your head.
Yeah.
That what if they're right?
Yep. Me and my wife honestly battled with that a couple weeks
What
ago.
if they're right? What if we are
Yeah.
leading people to hell? What if we are deceived? What if we did open a door that we can't close? It's always there. I don't know if it goes away, because it's somewhere in the back of your mind. Even me, right, with my encounters and my experiences, it's always there. But to move past
I feel
it.
like it's a lower voice.
You're gonna
I mean,
question yourself
course,
all the
yeah.
time. It's just about questioning yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and that shows that you're wrestling with God,
Yeah.
with that voice
Yeah.
inside. Like Jacob wrestled with God, and he was changed. You have to be open,
Absolutely.
and then you have to go back to God, that foundational place that we're talking about, the foundation of Jesus, and bring it to Him.
Exactly.
Jesus, how do you feel about these mushrooms?
And don't be scared to ask Jesus.
Jesus, oh, if you're scared to ask
Then
Him,
yeah,
you're already messing up.
Exactly.
Because you have a relationship.
I've had
that's-
that though. Like I've literally been
Yeah.
scared to ask certain things because of
Yeah.
my relation. I mean, with my background in religion, like
Yeah.
just what I was taught.
Yeah.
Because like a lot
But
of
now-
stuff is witchcraft and this.
But
and that.
you still do though, right? Like
Yes, there's still that voice in the back of me that tells me, Chris, man, come on, you know better.
Yeah.
This is not what you do, and you know all these people that are really like
Yeah.
you think are like just don't really got it together, whatever the word would be. They do got it together, Chris, because they do know my voice. My what is it? My sheep know my voice or whatever.
Stranger's
But in the
voice.
same in that same thing, I still be like, yeah, I do,
Uh-huh.
because I know who I am, and when I
Yeah.
speak that, there's power behind it. There's no power behind being dead,
Double-minded.
double-minded. Yeah. That's what I was always in the church. Because on Sunday I was being my best, and then I'm going to hang out with my non-Christian friends and smoke weed and drink beer, and then but I got to make sure I'm good for Sunday again. You know what I mean? Because I got to make sure the relationship stays golden in front of
Yeah.
the people. You know?
It's just the part that they tell you in churches, they tell you not to be a hypocrite. Don't be a hypocrite.
They don't let you question anything.
But they teach you to be the hypocrite.
Yeah.
Because when you go to church on Sunday morning and they shake your hand, hey brother, how you doing this morning? Like you can't really say. Maybe you should. Maybe this is the catch.
Oh yeah.
You can't. Hey man, my life's falling to pieces, brother. I
That's
don't
not
know
what
if
they're
I believe,
expecting.
I don't know if I believe in Jesus anymore. I got a lot of stuff on my mind. I've been thinking about suicide all week. Like you can't really do that.
No, you
You have to go there and you have to play the role.
Yes.
You know.
Try to get your own encounter while you're there.
Mm-hmm. And you can bring that to the altar, but if you start, you
Yeah.
can't really, you can't be open.
No.
And we talked about like having these friends and this brotherhood of whether you want to call it Christians or not, but we have a foundation in Christ but we're open. And it's not just us.
Yeah,
There's
there's
many
a
more
lot.
people
Yeah.
opening up.
Mhm.
And that was one thing that was discussed this weekend. Is it only us, right? But there's a lot more people opening up by us
Yes.
walking in our authentic selves. Not just us, but you guys watching, you guys listening, following that voice.
Keep
I'm telling
following
you,
it.
I this is awesome to me. He's probably listening right now, but I have a friend of mine now who's over a big Christian radio station and has a bunch of influence and stuff, and he cannot talk about this stuff. He wants to, but his job's depending on
Yes.
it. His family, his social status is depending on it. He starts talking about this stuff, they're gonna cut his
Yeah,
head
that's where it gets
right off
scary.
his shoulders.
That's where it
Right?
gets
So
scary.
it's up for people, not who can talk about it, because none of us can talk
Yeah,
about
exactly.
it. You know what I'm saying? With everybody's reputations on the line.
Oh,
But
yeah.
because, and this is kind of what was discussed during the Dan podcast, but because you guys aren't talking about it, we have to.
Yeah, exactly. And live
Right?
it out.
Because we see the fruit of it and we see
Mhm.
how much freedom it's bringing to people's
Exactly.
lives. And
And
I
it's
talk about it all the
ever-changing.
time.
And the more you step into it, the more you change really into your true authentic self, like who God really wants you to be, because you're not allowing there to be any more boundaries, because there's no boundaries with God. He's everlasting. It's eternal. It's here. It's right now. You close your eyes and you can have it. You can have all that. The fruits of the Spirit. It's all there.
Jonathan Suggs, I think that's how you say your name, says the power of affirmation, 100%. And that could be used for good or bad.
Yeah.
That's why everybody has to check their own walk and make sure that the people you have in your corner are not just yes men. We
Yeah.
talked about it earlier. We could be open with one another about any and everything. And we're going to walk this thing out with you. And this is how we're supposed to be.
Yeah, I believe
But
so.
But we have standards. Like we have things that we won't do. There's stuff that will not fly that we're adamantly against, right? And it's not just that we let everything fly or everyone should. I remember just last week when I posted about my tarot cards, right?
Oh yeah.
And I did a prayer session and used a deck of tarot cards, and I put it out there on Facebook, and people freaked out.
I saw that.
the majority of people were behind it. They thought it was awesome. They're already into tarot. Like a lot of I have a mixed multitude of friends.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing. With anything that I post out there, and probably you too, you're gonna have those people who love it, and then
And
those
hate
people
it.
who are gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
like praying for you and messaging people in chat rooms to
Oh,
pray
God,
for you.
yeah. I'm sure I'm in those groups.
You know, those type of things. But you know, it comes with its own share of pushback. But I tell you what, it's envious. It's envious,
It really
and
is.
people will envy you, and the things that they don't like in you, and it turns them off, is the parts that they don't like about themselves
Exactly.
that
That's
they
what
see
I've
in
noticed
you.
in my own personal
You're
walk.
more open. I can't be open, so why should you get to be open?
I used to get so jealous of people that were super open. I'm like, man, I want it, but I just felt like, okay, I'm not supposed to have that. But you still feel like inside you really want that. Like, it's so freeing. It really is. To be free.
Some of our close friends, and like I said, the guy over the radio station, and many Christians, and you know, watchmen as well. You know, he's, you know, they give me a hard time about opening up. I can't do that. I'll get fired. You know, I can't do that. You know, this type of deal. So you have to use wisdom in all things,
course.
right? So I wouldn't. I mean,
You know.
But
just listen to that voice.
you have to use wisdom in all things, but you got to be authentic. You can't go around trying to be somebody else
That's where that
or
double-mindedness
pretend
comes
that
back.
you don't like something. Hey, aren't you friends with TruthSeekah? Oh, he's
Who? Yeah,
Exactly,
I've already
man.
had to go through that in my walk. Is,
Yeah.
You know, I'm dealing with it more of my on like family. Like,
Yeah. It's weird with you than me versus the family thing. Because when I got in maybe this is when I got into church though. Because when I got into church and I came out of dark witchcraft, like of demonic entities and summoning demons and crazy stuff that took over my mind. I was going schizophrenic. I was going down a bad path, robbing people, breaking into houses, bad person. Got born again, had an encounter with Jesus, came out of the witchcraft for years, right? It wasn't in anything. This incense we have smoking. I remember when I first came out of that stuff, I couldn't even have incense in front
Yeah.
of me, right?
Oh,
It was so,
yeah,
so
yeah.
sensitive to that realm. But all my family took credit for me getting saved. Like my mom and my grandmother, they were like having arguments about who should get credit almost. Like I let him live with me, and
It's something
you
you
know
feel
I
good
let him do
inside
this.
about, I
Yeah, and
think.
they were like fighting over who got me in the church or whatever, and I would just hear stuff, you know, and but so I guess in your case now it's not that who fighting over who got you in the church. Now you're getting more of the backlash of you leaving the church
Yeah.
or not necessarily
Not even
leaving the
leaving the
church,
church.
but because you come into a revelation that you are the
Yeah.
church,
Yes.
right? Of what the
Yes.
scriptures teach. But what's some of the stuff that you're getting
Well,
or
I
you've
mean-
got?
Well, like, just going deeper into, like I said, taking God out of that box. Like, you know, just, hey, I can listen to any type of music that I want to and still hear God's voice through this song. You know what I mean? It comes back to the simple little things, you know what I mean? But I'm trying to think of, like, an example without trying to throw it out there. It's just like I'm there. They just really think that I'm lost. Like we were heading down the right path, doing things the way that we're supposed to, and then boom, something just happened, and oh, you're into this, you're into that, and you can't be in this, we can't be a part of you no more, or you're under that too much grace thing, like John Crowder,
Yeah.
the too much grace law or whatever.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's you can do anything you want to do, and God, you're saved. There's nothing you do. But what really hurt the most. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but when we were there and this person, it was a family member. You know, me and my wife, we do everything we do everything out of love. You know, and I haven't seen this person in like 9 months, and then boom, here they were. And at first, the first thought comes on my mind: leave, walk away. You don't want that. This is not a part of you. Don't, dude. You're gonna get rejected right now. You don't need that. But I was just like, nah, man, because this is in part of my path of learning my voice. You know, I was just like, nah. And he looks right at me, and I look right at him, and I'm just like, okay, well, let's go outside. You know, let's just do this. Let's talk. And his children were there, and I got to see his children, which was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful experience for me and my wife because we haven't seen him in 9 months. You know, and one of them actually forgot who we were, which breaks your heart.
Really?
You know,
Yeah.
it breaks your heart. But anyways, going back to that, we were just talking to see where he was at and kind of just to see where he was, and seeing that he went, because this guy, he's a brother to me. He was coming out of religion and getting awakened, having experiences his own, and then stuff was happening in his life that he didn't understand, and he just went to like other things, and I love him for what he did and everything, but that's just where he was at right now. But anyways, we were talking, and he literally was like, I just came out because I'm just like, so what do you feel about with Jesus? Like, he just came out with me, you're the Jew or you're a Gentile kind of mentality, like, and then told me that, look, Jesus isn't only love, bro. He flipped tables too. He got pissed. He was a human being. I'm like, no, I get that, bro.
Yeah.
But what did Jesus stand for?
Yeah.
And then you just telling him all that, and him telling me straight up, you too, I was where you were at. I know, like, he knew my experience, and I'm like, no, man, there's no way you've ever. Yeah. No, this is mine. My wife has had her own personal experience. Yeah. She doesn't have the same experience. Yeah. You know what I mean? But anyways, I just came out after the end of it. I was just like, so then what do you think? Do you think I'm going to go to hell? And he just looked at me and my wife, and he just said yes. Oh, my and God. You know how that feels when it's family.
Yeah. I mean, like, all of what? Okay, so hear. You're going to hell from a Christian standpoint. Yeah. This is not spiritualist, New Age, or whatever. But from a Christian standpoint, you're going to hell. Why?
I'm going to hell. He told me I was going to hell. Well, he didn't give me a specific reason because he thinks I'm falling out. Like, the fall away from God.
That's the thing. You have to. Okay, I'm going to tell everybody listening right now. When you're dealing with church people, when you're dealing with Christians, do not let them generalize. You're just into that stuff, bro. You're into mysticism. Hold on. Wait. What the hell is mysticism? Mm-hmm. What is that?
They don't know.
My relationship with Jesus is very mystical. A very mystical encounter. Exactly. But what do you mean by that? Or you're into the occult. Yes, I am. The word occult means that which is hidden.
Exactly. There's no knowledge, really.
You got to make them tell you. Because then you can actually pinpoint it and bring understanding to them.
We did do that kind of. But then I started to think, oh, man, am I being like an asshole right now or something? That's kind of what I kind of felt.
If he's talking about your salvation, the Christian salvation encounter is faith in Jesus by grace alone, what he did on the cross for your sins. And that's all it is. You still have that, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, he should.
That's what I pretty much said to him too. I was like, I believe the exact same stuff you believe about Jesus.
Bro.
He didn't even go there. He just sit there. He just and I kind of felt like this is why I said I felt like he was kind of getting attacked, kind of because it was me and my wife versus him. That's his mentality, kind of what it was. But it really wasn't that because. Like, on a personal level, I've been, getting closer and closer to my other part of the family because it's like a clash thing, You got one side of the family and then another side of the family that doesn't like you. But I got one person, she's my grandma. Like, I've been, getting closer and closer to her. And I see Christ's love through my grandma. Mm-hmm. She doesn't have a religion at all. Yeah. She's never has. But I got told as a kid and a Christian, if you don't accept Jesus into your heart, you know where you're going. And so I used to always pray for my grandma's salvation. And she's been watching my walk the whole time.
The whole time, Grandma's closer to Jesus than any of them.
Exactly, and my wife can tell you the same thing because every time we talk about it, she cries, dude. And we talk about that her own inner child. My grandma's in her 70s. Yeah. Her own inner child, and to see her cry and to come out and to see she sees my authenticity. Like, she knows I'm authentic. Like, she knows I had an experience, and I tell her everything. I'm so open, and I think that's a big part too, is being open with people. I mean, you have your boundaries and stuff, but. For me, my family, they'll use stuff against me to throw at someone and say, "Oh yeah, but did you know he does this?" Like to smoke weed or something, So I just am so open with my grandma about everything that I am, and it's not to just be hey, hey Nana, this is what I'm doing. It's more like, hey, I just want you to know, this is who I am. Yeah. And now that I've done that to her, I've been doing it to every single other person.
That's weird because it seems like Nana, is that what you call her?
Yeah, I call her Nana.
Nana is like the neutral person that both sides are trying to win over. Mm-hmm. You're trying to win her over, and then your mom, and then the other friend.
I really felt like I was trying to win her over, but not anymore. I don't have to.
That's good.
I don't have to, and I'm not going to get personal on what she says, but what she tells me is a beautiful, and it shows me that, Chris, keep moving.
Because with being authentic, and you will never be authentic in your beliefs and where you're supposed to be of achieving your dreams and your goals and the life that God has here for you, until you get over the fear of men and the acceptance of men.
Yeah.
When I came out of it, brother, I was on stages where the whole crowd would stand up and applaud me for doing my work. And now I get off those stages now, and they think I'm a devil worshiper. You know what I'm saying?
It hurts.
So yeah, the acceptance and the applause of men, and thinking that we have to, people have to agree with us or be accepted. You don't, like, if I was you, I wouldn't have no spiritual conversations with my family.
Yeah,
I just try that.
We keep it as neutral. Like, we
Yeah,
don't-
yeah, keep it neutral. That's like when you go to work, you can't go to work and talk
Yeah,
about mushrooms.
there you go.
When I was on the job, I go to work, we talk about football. We talk about the weather.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about this, we talk about that. You know what I'm saying? And if the
I
opportunity
kind of
was
just
right,
like follow the voice, bro.
yeah.
Because I gotta say, with my mom, she's come a long way.
Don't let them bait you in, though.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's what I used to do, and that's what I'm getting at right now. Like, my mom, like, I'm so proud of her because
awesome.
where she was at, like, raised in this too, and she still is part of it, like, you know. But what I gotta say is, like, she's finally starting to accept me and letting me have my inner voice, and not. I don't know what she truly believes about it, but she lets me be open with her, and she doesn't condemn me no more.
Yeah.
She doesn't. I don't know what she's doing behind the scenes, and I don't care. It doesn't matter, because she still shows me that unconditional love right in my face. You know what I mean? And that's, to me, that's beautiful. And she literally asks me questions about my experiences.
You like to talk about it.
Yes, because my mom, now with my new job, like, my mom could come over and we could just sit there all day and talk. And I'm a seed planter. You know, I just like to drop seeds and stuff. And my mom, I'm just watching. Like, I did the same type of talk with her that I did with my grandmother, and the tears that flew out of her, it was sincere, bro. You know, I was like, Mom, I had to just be real. I was like, have you ever doubted God? Like, have you ever thought God wasn't for you or something? Or, like, you're just fucking up pretty much, you know what I mean? Like, you're just not doing things right accordingly in your mind. And she's like, yes. And I'm like, see, that's all you got to do is just be real with God, because that's all he wants you to do is just real, because once you start being real with him, he's going to become more real to you. It's like, don't hide it back in the background like you've been doing. Just work on your personal self, your own self. Don't follow every single person and think that their way is right. You need to find your own truth.
Work out your own salvation.
Own salvation, yes.
With fear and trembling.
Exactly. That doesn't mean to always be afraid you're going to go burn in hell, man. Go take a risk. Jump that bridge. Risk it. For real. For real. If I didn't risk it, I wouldn't be who I am today.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I know I can be around any type of religion, any type of person, like murderers, rapists, I don't care. I'm going to love them. I don't have to agree with what they are, but I love them.
The weird thing is that we're even having this conversation. If you listen to what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know.
There's people who are like.
Know. What the?
That Christians felt this way or feel this way. That there's a dogmatic response about being around sinners. Mm-hmm. Isn't that who the message of Christ is for?
Exactly.
Is it not the sick who need a doctor? How are you going to... What are you doing around sick people? Do you go visit people? Do you visit, like, people with jacked up belief systems or who need Jesus but they're too weird or they're too worldly to be around? God has to get a way of prepping you and preparing you to send you into those realms with his light and love. And he's not doing it as a Mormon evangelist or with a suit and tie holding the Bible. You are the scripture says you're a living epistle.
Exactly, and I feel that.
And you are the Word made flesh. You're Christ in you.
Yeah, and every day is that
it's the hope of glory. That's
every day.
The mystical union is Christ in you. The hope of glory. And you haven't left that. You haven't left your first love. And many of you guys listening have a foundation of what you know to be Jesus. And even that notion about what we think Jesus is probably different with all of us.
Yeah. And
different levels of degrees of intimacy and what we've seen and what we've experienced in the spiritual realms, and even in the hours of prayer and agony and crying and trying to figure out what's real and what's not, and all of this stuff. Everybody has a different degree of faith and a level of belief, and it's different for everybody. But love, and it gets at it's the Bible, the whole thing from Genesis to Revelation is very deep. A lot of deep mystical traditions, esoteric stuff in there, beautiful stuff, easy stuff on the outside of encouragement. But it all boils down to love the Lord thy God with all your heart, and
Simple.
to love
Simple.
your neighbor as yourself. Jesus said that all the law and all the prophets, that's the Old Testament. He said all the law
The new covenant.
and all the prophets hang upon these two commandments. If you can do these two, no matter how you do it, I don't care how you do it, but if you could do these two, then you're doing it right.
I think somebody told me something like that, and that's what
Oh,
kind of woke
dude.
me up. It's
Oh,
like,
it's
wow,
huge.
wait,
No,
so
that's
it's
huge,
not
man.
all this. It's really this simple.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and
Jesus
yeah,
said it.
Yeah, and I believe that too, because he really.
If you can walk in love, and this, just Google, just do a word study on love in the Bible and how much Jesus spoke about it and what type of love. And when we talk about, so I would say, okay, an unconditional love. And the thing that I found in Christianity, where I come from, they teach love with conditions. Even that they'll say, brother, I still love you and I'm still praying for you.
But
I'm like, well, give me a phone call. A phone call is good. You know, they're like,
Be there for me.
I've been praying for you ever since. I said, bro, I ain't talked to you in 3 years, man. A
Yeah.
phone call would be nice, right?
But are they really praying for you too? Is the question, because I can say that too. Yo, I prayed for you, bro. But did I really pray for you?
You
Is
didn't
the
call.
question.
I said, keep your prayer. Give me a phone
Yeah,
call.
a
Let
phone
me
call
know.
would be real.
Let me know you.
Be there for me.
you're
Show me
still
you
my
really
friend.
genuinely
Yeah.
care.
You're not ashamed of me.
Yes.
Yeah, something
No
like
matter
that.
what, who I am. That's unconditional.
That was part of it for me, and I think many people listening are listening for a reason, that they see something in your story and in my story, and you know, they kind of get into a place where they're stepping out. Many people even ahead of us smiling down on this conversation because maybe they have the same story, but maybe some years
Yeah.
ahead of us, and they've been through that, and they're watching us go through it. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
being
it's-
okay.
it's a
and
beautiful
beautiful
experience.
process.
Yeah,
And,
and the more you trust it, the better it is.
I don't know how much you wanted to go into it, but you did mention it before we went live. Talking about on our vacation, the moonshine. I don't know if you wanted to talk about that at all, just
That's
a little
totally
bit.
fine. So when we were on over there in Tennessee, we stopped at the distillery there and got some moonshine, and I got I got some gifts for people or whatnot. But I decided to get the White Lightning, and I don't drink that much. You know, I'm a truck driver, so I don't really do that anymore. Just on occasions, you know. This was the occasion. I'm here on vacation with family, so it was really crazy. I ended up drinking a little bit. Too much probably, but it didn't matter though. I had an experience like I've never had before because, man, I don't really. You were there, but I was in my own world. Like honestly, like you seen what I was crying, guys. Like I was hardcore crying, but he had music on that was just like reaching me. God was speaking to me through this experience. How I look at it as, because I had, there's some stuff that's deeply rooted in me that even I can't even remember. That I feel comes out of me. Like, I see it, and I don't have to maybe understand it yet, but it might be revealed to me some later down the road, or I won't ever be revealed, but it's still freeing. Like, that's what I felt like I got out of it. Like, I was literally, like, going through laughter. Crying, then straight up laughing so hard with tears. And, there's one thing that I've always told God is, like, I never understood is, God, how come I'm not emotional with you? Like, everybody, I see people cry out to you. I see people get so real. Am I not real? Am I not being real? And just experiences besides that has showed me that, I don't have to be emotional for it to be real, because he accepts me, he's never leaving me, he's never forsaken me. It doesn't matter. That's just a belief if I want to believe that, a thing that comes in my head. But being into on that moonshine, I've never ever experienced it because, like, to just go to the next level with God, like to say, okay, what I'm feeling right now, I'm gonna take it back to what I believe in and all that, and talk to God right here. And what are you trying to show me? Because this is a great feeling, and it just got deeper and deeper. And I can't put it into words, bro. I really am trying to put it into words, but it was just so beautiful. You were there. You saw me. Like, I was bawling my eyes out. And
I just played some songs that worked for me. That worked for me,
well, whatever you did. Wow.
And no, it was cool.
One of them was Kid Cudi, and we listened to it afterwards. And
Yeah,
even my wife, she looked at me and was like,
"That's your song.
That's your song." Yeah.
Song's about you.
Yeah, that song is totally about you.
I thought it was about me.
Yeah, like seriously, like it just blew
song.
my mind. And even in what were those songs? Those aren't Christian songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm drinking moonshine. And what does that look like in the Christian world? That's not right, brother. But it didn't matter because I still had that experience, and no one could take that from me. And I was telling my wife, this is kind of freaky. I don't want to tell people just in my life about this experience, because they're gonna automatically throw, oh, you were drinking, you didn't get an experience with God.
Yeah.
But I really felt
Everything's an experience with
yeah,
God.
everything is
That's
an
what
experience.
it comes back to.
Yeah, and I really, really felt it was just real. It was 100% real, and that no one's gonna take from it.
Yeah. As we're coming upon the end of our discussion, man, if there's anything that we didn't talk about, is there anything that you wanted to bring, any experiences, any encounters that changed your life, any just times in meditation and prayer and things like that, anything you want to bring up?
No, I'm just gonna say that where I'm pretty much going, where I'm at, we're gonna be going from here. Where my next step in life is nobody knows me really, so I'm like really wanting to be into like poetry, like seeing where that takes me, because I believe that the Bible is written on my heart. So like those words there, okay, well there's other words in there that I want to write them down, and not necessarily. I don't know if I want to necessarily be a singer, like, or anything like that, but, you know, my music is more along the lines of Naco Bear and Trevor Hall and stuff like that. Like, if I was to sing, like, I would be more, like, that genre. But yeah, honestly, I think we covered up pretty much a lot about me. And
you were catching flack for even posting Naco's music and stuff, right?
Yeah, I get it for everything.
What about my
man.
music? You catch flack?
Well, your YouTube videos stopped, so I couldn't share them no more. But yeah, I do. But like I said, I still got friends that are like, "Yo, that dude is hot, bro." Like, wow, what? He's a Christian?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's so funny, that process. And
yeah,
I've had friends who can't like my statuses and can't share my music because of their friends.
Scared
and stuff. Yeah.
I went through it.
So these last few minutes, man, just kind of give some advice to, I would say, church people, but it's applicable to everyone who is struggling to be the person that God is calling them to be. Give them some encouragement and let them know what like you're prolonging it. The longer you wait, it's not good. Just to go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Give them some encouragement, man.
All I can tell you is don't be afraid to listen to that inner voice, because it's really been guiding you the whole time. You just, you got to get past the fear. You got to get past all the dogma, all the stuff that people are trying to like put at you and, make you feel like is real, like it's truth. Just go beyond it. Like, because I'm telling you, there's a veil here. There really is a veil. And once you go beyond that veil, Christ will show up, or whatever will show up to you. And that's where the experience comes, and no one can take that from you. Like, people are going to come at you regardless. They did the same thing to Jesus. And that's why I say this experience is real. Like, you can't take that from me. And Jesus says, hey, if they've done it to you, they're going to do it to me. And it's true, because they're doing it to me.
Yes.
And they're going to do it to you. So don't be afraid. That's just it. You have to get past that fear. And once you get past that fear, that's when you're really going to see your realm of possibilities and all these things opening up to you. And just, for once, don't be closed-minded, be open-minded and embrace them and work through them and see, okay, well, what do you have for me, God? Like, what am I interested in? And, like, to just believe in that and in your own voice. You've had it since you were a baby, when you were a little kid, What did you like to do when you were a little kid? Like, go back to those things and just get back into that relationship with yourself. With yourself is God, because God is in you. So don't be afraid to go past that, because I'm telling you, the moment you do it, you're going to really experience an experience. You're going to see that God will show up, or whatever it is to you. It will show. It's impossible for it not to, because you're seeking. And what you seek, you're going to find. So just keep going. Don't be afraid no more. There's nothing to be afraid of. I'm just coming out of it myself. I'm in 4 years of being in an awakening, whatever. But I've been in, like I said, saved since 1999. It's still trusting that process. Like, every day is a battle still. But like you say, stay firm in your foundation. Keep Christ. If that's your foundation, keep it. Whatever that is for you. And keep going. Keep moving. Like you told me, put one foot in front of the other and keep moving. Don't stop. The moment you stop, you're staying idle again, With God, he's not staying still. God don't stay still. God's in everything. So it's always moving. It's always
constant
happening.
motion.
Constant motion. Exactly. Yeah. There's the word.
Energy.
Energy
is
energy.
moving.
It is. It really is.
So people are going to mess up as they begin to step out. Are they going to mess up, and is it okay to mess up?
Yes. And what is messing up? Really, what is messing up? You know, that's how I look at it.
True,
like,
true.
It might be messing up to somebody else, but then you'll see somebody else is like, nah, dude.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Those are the type of God will send the right people in your path, like in this journey. Because you're even on the journey you're on right now, and you feel like you want to step out and do it. God is still there. He hasn't. It's not like, oh, once you become awakened here, you get to meet God. God has been there from the beginning. It's just He's waiting for us to just get to know Him, to become real to Him.
That's it. There is no messing up.
No, there's no such thing as messing up, and anyone who tells you there is a liar.
Shout out to Grim in the chat, holding it down. He says learning.
What's up, Carl?
Carl Rawson. It's all about learning. I think it's messing up when you don't learn from the mess ups. Like if you keep repeating the same mistake over and over, and it happens. It's okay.
It still happens.
But you have to learn from it. So learn from the mistakes. Learn how to.
So you don't want to keep making them.
It's gonna be a pop quiz. You're gonna keep taking that test over and over until you pass it. But once you pass it, it may pop up again. You may have to do another pop quiz, random.
Yeah.
Something we studied a couple years ago. You may have to take that test again.
It'll always show you're not that perfect, knowledgeable person, you know what I mean?
Just wants to make sure you still remember.
Exactly.
You didn't forget.
Exactly.
So yeah, rejoice in all things. Isn't that what the scripture says? That love rejoice in all things?
In all things.
Let me see if I can find that scripture. Go ahead and talk about rejoicing in all things.
Oh yeah, rejoice in all things. Like that doesn't matter what it is. Like I said, I put on any music. He shows me like anything. I just bring God into it, man. Whatever that is, my experiences and all that, and the love that I have, and rejoicing that I do, and the joy that I have for everyone, and just loving everyone. It's like it's so hard to do, but yet so easy to do when you just give into it. You know, when you just love without limits and stuff. You know, like
Amen.
Just love without limits.
Love without, and so So examine yourself to see whether you're in the faith, is what the Bible says. So examine your love. Examine if you have love with conditions. Because many people go around and say, I love unconditionally.
Yep.
Or I love you if. I love you but. That type of stuff. So examine yourself and see what kind of love are you walking in. Jesus' love made manifest.
Yeah,
Jesus loved those when they couldn't love themselves. Guess what? That's why we're here. That's why we're still here. That's why we're still alive and kicking.
Exactly.
Because when everyone gave up on us, that spirit of Christ, which is love, never gave up on us.
And never will.
Never will. That's why we're here. That's why you're here. And we are embodiments of that love. We are the manifestation of Christ in us, the hope of glory, which is the mystery of the gospel. And that's very mystical, a mystical union when Christ's in you and you don't go to church, when you find out you are the church and you are the body. And as we come together, it gets deep, ladies and gentlemen. And
it gets super deep.
We're here to experience the depths of that love and that grace and how far does it actually go. And you got to be able to follow that voice, man. Because he said that my sheep know my voice, and a stranger's voice they might follow. A stranger's voice, sometimes they follow. A stranger's voice, oftentimes they follow if they're not praying. No, he says a stranger's voice they will not follow because they follow his voice. Mm-hmm. You got to be able to know the difference between the voices.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. And trust that. Mm-hmm. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Really with that, I'm going to say peace and shalom. If people want to add you as a friend, because we're all family here. We're growing, and it's really weird how synchronicities work together, and God brings new people into our lives, and people who are just mirror images of what we believe, and they help us on this journey. If people want to add you on Facebook and what you're doing and want to connect with you, how can they reach you?
I'm definitely on Facebook. You can find me on his friends list, or you can look me up as Chris Barszcz, and the last name, it shouldn't be hard to find me. Just put BARS, and you'll see him. You'll see a picture of me and my wife, or just on his friends list.
But it's spelled differently.
It's spelled differently. Yeah, it's Polish.
Yeah,
Barszcz.
Yeah. Look how it's spelled, just in case you're not friends with me. If you're listening to this, Chris Barszcz. Look him up. He's a good brother. Expect great and mighty things from him and his wife to come soon. They're both stepping out in faith, doing awesome work for God in the area that He's graced them in, and coming into learning. It's awesome, very much so. With that, I'm gonna say peace and shalom again. Thank you to everybody holding us down in the chat room here. Super duper thank you to everybody supporting my work on Patreon. Again, you guys mean the world to me. This guy here has been supporting me hands down for a couple years now, and everybody who's doing it, a little goes a long way. And so if you want to do that, head on over to patreon.com/TruthSeekah. There's new music, new stuff. Did you hear some of the new music?
I was just about to say, for you people,
that's not even on Patreon
Yeah,
yet.
it's not on Patreon yet, but be ready for you that love his music. Because I told Nicole, I was like, 333, that's mine. And then he starts showing me all this new stuff that's not even on Patreon, which, if you're not on Patreon, you need to get on Patreon because you're hearing some good stuff here, okay? Like, the new stuff, though, oh my God, I'm blown away. There's no words for what he's talking about, guys.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I'm excited to get it out, and it's about to come out.
Yeah.
Check it out. Grim says, been waiting, LOL.
Yeah.
No doubt.
It'll be worth it, Grim.
Grim, Tina, Carolyn, everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome. I love y'all. And with that, I'm going to say peace and shalom. We'll catch you guys on the next one. There's a lot more coming. My inbox is getting flooded with guests who want to come on the show. And I'm going to be doing some solo stuff here as well, some solo podcasts, breaking down some music and lyrics and getting into some more teaching. I've got a bunch of stuff. I just got to sit down and focus on it to go ahead and finish it. I got a bunch of stuff started. So I just got to finish each one so I can bring something else to the table that's within me that we've been promising to bring different teachings and stuff like that. So with that, peace and shalom. Love you guys. Peace, peace.
Your way so much higher than mine, so much higher than mine, so much deeper than mine, so much deeper than mine.
Well, that does it for this episode, folks. To hear more episodes of the TruthSeekah podcast, head over to TruthSeekah.com. And if you're wanting to support the show and get rewards, go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/TruthSeekah.